Hello, my friends. Welcome to Flow with Jess. I'm so excited. Today is a Wednesday, and if you were here last Wednesday, I think I had the same cup. Today is my take Sadie to the dog walker day, and last week my husband was like, "You should take my keys and go to my studio and go hang out by yourself for a few hours," and I was like, oh, "What a lucky life that I get to live." So all I did was go hang out and watch YouTube. I brought my laptops and I was like, I'm like a strong, independent, entrepreneurial businesswoman. And then I just watched YouTube. But it was great. I really enjoyed myself. I had my matcha and I just got to take some space and in a different location. And that was really nice. So here we are again, 1 week later. And I went and got my matcha and a scone. I think I said last time too. I'm like, especially in the summertime, I feel like in the summertime it can be really easy to be like ice cream, sugar, cake, pastries, because it's just like hot and easy and like carb filled and tasty, of course. But I'm like, I'm wanting to do another I'm wanting to do another 2 weeks of like no caffeine, no sugar, no poisonous materials essentially going in my body. All of the things that I enjoy very much, but just taking a little bit of a rest because I felt so good last time I did it. And I did it during the period of my cycle where my energy started to get a little bit lower anyways. And I don't know about you, but when energy starts to dip, it's so easy for me to reach for I'll be like, I'll just have a cookie. I'll just have another coffee. I'll just have a something. And then it always makes me feel not good. So I think this is probably the perfect time just to not, and I think I had every intention of that being today. I was like, I'll get a matcha, it's not a coffee. And then I saw the scones and I'm a sucker for a good scone. So maybe we'll start tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, I'm back in the car and what's going on today? What's going on? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna spend some time. I'm gonna record a couple videos. We'll see how it goes. And I have a little bit of work I have to do for my job, and this is that first. It's so interesting, and if you've been here for a little while, you've heard a little bit of the saga of me reintroducing myself into work and into a corporate-ish setting. Corporate-ish. I don't even know how I would describe it. I have the coolest job, actually. I'm in a really cool spot. And it's sort of corporate, but also still very local at the same time. And it's new and nobody knows what's going on. And it's great. And so I have to do a little assignment, you could say. I took it upon myself because one of the other supervisors, one of the other leaders was like, we're doing this this one-on-one form, and which is great, right? They want to, it's been 3 months that we've been there, so they want to talk to all the people and be like, what do you like, what do you not like, how do you want to be recognized, do you want to do another position, feedback, just getting some general feedback, because everything's so new and we're flying. And so yeah, I'm gonna take some time and help her out with that, because I have a degree in HR, and I don't often get to put it to good use, but feedback forms is something that we talked a lot about in school, and it's always fun to see your degree get put to work. It's an interesting idea as an investment. Just before hopping on, I don't love that. Just before pressing record, I was sent a video by my mother-in-law, and it was why your house is a terrible investment. Oh, what was my connection? There was a connection about investments of time and school. So he was basically saying buying a house is a bad, it's not an investment. And so fascinating to hear that perspective, because that's all I've heard my entire life. Like, going to school, that's an investment in yourself, in your future. Buying a house, that's an investment in you and your future. But on one side, when I think about school, it's like, do I believe that being like, I have an HR degree has like sort of helped me? I think maybe, like, I get to talk about it like I'm like bougie, but I don't think it's necessarily been the driving force behind my success. But I think it's like a plot point in my life that happened. And at least for me in my position, my mom saved and prepared for university. And then I also worked my butt off and saved so much money. So between the two of us, we were able to completely pay off. Like, it was all loans back in the day. It was all loans, and it was like $40,000. It was so much money. And there really weren't a lot of grants. Like, I think every year I got like 1,000, but tuition was, over 7 plus everything else. You have to still live. You have to buy supplies. You have to do all the things. So we invested in that, and we were so fortunate because we planned and we paid it off. So like, I didn't get left with thousands and thousands of dollars of debt to my name, where most people do. So when we think about schooling and investing in ourselves, like, we're investing, but we're also putting ourselves in this position where we owe so much money, and it forces you into this career path so that you can make as much money as possible to pay down your debt. And it doesn't always work out for everyone. It doesn't always work out for everyone, especially if shit happens and or you just simply don't want the life that you think you wanted when you went into school at 18. How often does that happen? Like, I don't meet a lot of people that are like, oh yes, at 16 and a half, I left high school early, went to school, did the thing, and now I've been on that exact path for the remainder of my life. Like, I feel like that doesn't happen. We all go on like these journeys and side paths, and I don't even like saying side paths, because like, it is your path, I'm so grateful that, as much as I wanted to buy a house because I had money. If you watch one of my videos, there's I think I have it in a clip from back in the day. I used to clip videos. Try to be like Joe Rogan, like the Jess clip bank. And I have a video, and I think it's called How I Spent $60,000 in 1 year. And when I think back to that, it's like, why didn't I buy a house? Like, why didn't I invest that money? Why didn't I buy $20,000 in like the stock? Like, why didn't I invest that money in a different way? And I don't know. It just didn't happen that way. But I paid off school. I bought CC straight up bought CC, all cash, new car, mostly new. Very proud of that. And then I bought a wedding. And so that money was gone. And then that started the path of living on very minimal and also not working. I got out of the corporate race, and I started trying to be an entrepreneur. We tried to do drop shipping. We tried creating a clothing company. I tried, personal training and yoga teacher. And I just tried a lot of different things. But I realized during that time that I didn't want to just go into an office 5 days a week and bring all that work home and climb the corporate ladder and make all of this money just doing this one thing. And my life had to look this way. And had I had a house, had I bought a house, had I invested in a house, I would have been stuck. I would have been like, I can't, even becoming a mom. You guys, I don't think I've mentioned this. I don't think I have, but becoming a mom wasn't necessarily on my radar. It's something that I was always a little bit unsure about. It's not something that a lot of women are like, oh my God, I can't wait to have a kid. I'm so excited to have a baby. That was not me. I was very unsure about it. And that's part of the reason why it took so long 5 years to be exact, for my husband and I to decide. And we decided, like, we chose when, and God allowing and universe allowing, but we chose when we were going to start a family, and then the rest was in the hands of the universe. But had we been in like the corporate mindset, had we stayed there and had we bought a house, like we had like years where our income was so dang low. We were both working part-time, new entrepreneurs, and we were so shielded from all the responsibilities and like everything of like owning a home and like doing those things. And we were so lucky that we were able to like focus on ourselves and our healing and the journey that we were on, versus having to like force ourselves into this mindset of like, you have to go to work and you have to have a kid, you have to do all of these things in this order of operations. And I'm just so grateful that didn't I'm just so happy that we actually got to bypass that a little bit and do things a little bit differently. But it would have been scary because, even if thinking about EI and employment insurance, is it the same thing in the States? No, probably not. I always read about like maternity leave in the States. It's like 6 weeks or something. If someone can confirm that, that'd be great. But Canada has a pretty good system. You get like 50% of your income given back to you for like 12 months. And some people are like, it's not enough. And I can imagine if you like own a home and then the rates jump up and you're only getting 50% of that income, and then now you have this added thing in your life, like I can imagine that would feel a little stressful. But yeah, I was so unsure about becoming I was so unsure about doing all the things that I did. I feel like I'm jumping around a lot. I think this was the scone. I think the sugar got to my brain. Sorry. Sorry. It was like 12 stories in one there. I totally lost my train of thought. But anyways, moral of the story, I want a house with my whole heart. Like, there's this part of me now that I'm like making bank again, which feels cool. Years. It's been like literal years. I have not made any money in years. It feels really cool to have some cookies in the cookie jar, and like there's the part of me that really wants to start like saving and getting ready to buy a house. But then there is the part of me that's like, girl, like, are you sure you really want to push that agenda? Like, you've been trying to do this since you were like 17. Like, I used to spend hours on realtor.ca. That was like an activity that I did. I also as a kid used to watch Till Death Do Us Part. And if anyone knows that, please let me know. I've never met anyone that's been like, oh yeah, like I used to watch that too. But yeah, I used to be like 8 or 9, and I'd be watching this show about couples who like were on the brink of divorce because they were in so much debt that they literally had to call somebody in. They called Gail in to like help support them so that they wouldn't get divorced and get their money, on track. Why I was like, this is my show, couldn't tell you. But I've just always really enjoyed money. I've always enjoyed money. I've always enjoyed the thought of, owning homes and, being able to have a home that I can like have my family in. That's one thing for the last few years that has been not great is the the house, the apartment that we're in. It's like on a second floor. It's like old. There's a hole in the floor. We're non-traditional people, so we don't have a lot of furniture. We bought a couch finally, and we haven't had a couch in months. We don't have a dining room table. Like, we sit on the floor most of the time. So, like, imagine my 83-year-old grandparents coming over. Like, it's just, like, it's not comfortable for them. It's just not comfortable for them. And, so I dream of having, like, a main floor house with, a beautiful, beautiful, like, 12-person dining table and the ability to, like, have people over for, like, a really good meal. Like, I just think that would just be so nice. But yeah, so I don't know what's in the cards. My assumption about, like, the investment of real estate is, of course, I think it's still a very good idea, but I think the idea of, like, saving the most minimal amount is, like, huge, right? Like, it's huge for a lot of people, and, like, I'm not knocking it as a worthwhile endeavor if that's what you want in your life, because I think that that's, like, so admirable, and, like, it's something that I've been trying to do forever and I haven't been able to do. So if you can, it's amazing. Everyone's situation is so different. But, like, I think of the idea, I think it's like the mortgage. You buy a car, and it's what's the payment? And I like not having payments. I like not having, I don't like subscriptions. Like, I don't like things. Which reminds me, my husband's like, you need to finally get YouTube Premium. I'm like, no, I don't want to pay for it. But, like, it's so annoying. It is so annoying, like, having all of the ads and all, like, sometimes the video will go for like 30 seconds and then there's an ad, and I'm like, during a yoga video, like, and that is new. That feels new to me. But, like, you're doing a yoga video, and then all of a sudden or a meditation. I've done a meditation and there was an ad, and I'm like, could you just, like, not, like, talk about jolting your nervous system, and then you have to, like, get back to your phone and press skip, and then you have to, like, try to get back into this, like, meditative space. Not ideal. Not ideal. But anyways, and being able to have your screen off. My husband also said, and I've had other people say as well, that they like to listen to my videos when they're just, like, doing other things, and it's not necessarily about, watching, which is great because I'm just, like, talking to a camera. So I think the idea is that, it is more of the voice coming through, and it's annoying to have your screen on. With Premium, you can just, like, turn your screen off and listen. And then also, the other suggestion would be to either put it on, like, make it a podcast of sorts, and that way, like, the audio, I mean, technically video as well, but then you can listen to it on, like, an audio-based app, like Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube Music, I think. I haven't explored that one yet, but like, that's a good idea too, and something to consider. I had someone last night, they were like, I was working, and this lovely couple came in, at the end of the night, and we just got chatting, and then she was like, are you a singer? And I was like, well, like, like, I'm a shower singer. I love singing. I love singing so much, but I always feel like I'm not that good, and, like, it's something that I've done my entire life, but I'm nervous about it, but I'm, I do practice, and I do like to sing a lot. And she was like, what do you sing? And that question always, like, stumps me. It's like, who's your favorite band? Who's your favorite musician? I'm like, I don't know. Like, it depends on my mood. It depends on, the phase of my cycle. It just depends on so many things, right? And I don't like, as you may know, I don't like descriptions. I don't like things that define me, and because I feel very undefinable at all times. Or that's just my ego being like, you're so different, and like loving that. But getting off on being different and being like, you can't put me in a box. But yeah, I told her, I was like, cause so on I have a name tag, and it says what my favorite band is. And so I was telling them about my favorite band, and I was like, I feel like I sing this person most of the time, but you know, it just totally depends. And she was like, what's your karaoke song? I'm like, I don't do karaoke, but if I did, okay, I'm interested to know, like, if you were to go to karaoke tomorrow, A, do you do karaoke, or do you just think about doing karaoke? Because I fall into that second category. I just I haven't had it in me to do it. But if you do karaoke, what's your song? Or if you're like me and you're just like dreaming of being on stage, what's your like dream karaoke song? I tell people that mine is Don't Stop Me Now, Queen. Which, if I'm not mistaken, like in the early days of this channel, I posted a bunch of singing videos, and I'm pretty sure that was one of them. I'd be interested to listen to that. Just cause. But anyways, that was a fun time. The beginnings of this channel, I was posting like 4 videos a day, and I was like doing singing, and I was doing lots of tarot, and I was just trying a bunch of things, just seeing what, you know, felt good for me, or like what people wanted to see. Essentially, it was like a lot of just trial and error, like it is now still, of course, but now I've been pretty settled on just these like really impromptu chatty I say chatty videos. Sometimes I go super silent, as people have mentioned, and but apparently it's on brand, so that's great. It's fun. You know, there's the part where you're like, it's a YouTube video, like it's supposed to be engaging, it's supposed to be like hold people's attention, because like watch time is typically pretty low. Or again, if you're listening in the background, if like your person goes quiet, you're like, what? Like, why am I gonna keep going with this if they're quiet? But I do have this theory of, you know, being able to take a breath and to take things a little bit slower, and to not try to force. Like, this is a lot of information. This was, if you're here, this is 22, almost 23 minutes of just me yapping at you about multiple various topics, plot points, and just like personal life experiences that you have to take in and digest. Do you feel that? Like, the shift? Energy can shift so quickly. And like, it's pretty amazing how just taking a brief pause can totally shift the energy that's coming through. And it can make you take a deeper breath, or see things a little bit clearer, or just take your time with your words so that it doesn't feel like you're rushing to get to the next part of life. And like, that's magic, I believe. I'm not monetized, but I still don't know all the rules when it comes to like music and YouTube. You're probably not allowed to have music playing in the background. It's probably like you can add it afterwards because it's like licensed in the way that it is. But screw it, we're gonna try it. Goodbye can't erase your energy. Hello is what I hoped for. Happy birthday, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye wasn't meant for our hearts.
My heart has a plot of land for you. I don't wanna call you up, 'cause I don't want to bring you down. Sometimes I feel my time is up.
So this is the artist that I wanted to tell the people that I was listening to the most. I've been listening to a lot of Desiree Dawson, and I listen to a lot of like Beautiful Chorus, and Beautiful Chorus is like how would I describe them? I have a hard time with genres. It's like very spiritual in nature. It's a group, but like the chorus, there's probably an actual definition of chorus that would explain this really well. But a lot of the time, the entire song is just like one or two lines. And Desiree Dawson is similar in style of like the positive, the spirituality, the like kindness, like the heart-centered. Also her vibrato is just like off the charts. But it's less repetitive, I guess would be the term. So, but I love them both so much. But what I love so much about like this type of music is that there's like a line or two typically that like sticks with you, and it's almost like a mantra. And I'm not sure if anyone knows of that, but a mantra is simply a word or a phrase that you can repeat to yourself over and over again, and it's a tool for, you know, reprogramming your subconscious. It's an anchor point. So when things are feeling the way that it is, it's like you can hold on, you can like anchor yourself in a phrase or a word or something to like, again, making sure that your nervous system doesn't get totally wrecked. It can just help center you. So for example, I had this experience the other day. Jacob, did I talk about it? I don't know. Jacob and I, we went to the park. He's literally just 2. He just turned 2. I was like talking with somebody and he just like ran off. I could see him, but he ran to the playground and he was playing. He was just like hanging out with the kids and he seemed totally happy and content. And then I found out later, there was something to climb up, and not like typical steps, essentially. It was kind of like something to step, then a big space, and then it goes up, a step, big space, goes up like 6 feet. And I look over, and this kid is like 3 or 4 rings up, and I'm like, holy shit. So I run over. I'm like, sorry, lady. Like, I gotta go. And I go over, and this kid just like climbed up 6 feet, no freaking problem. And I guess he had seen one of the other kids do it. I was like, dang, you're amazing. So he slides down the slide and he just like keeps doing it. And I'm there, he does it like 10 times. I'm like, wow, this kid's cool. And then he missed a step and he fell and he hit his face, and like and he fell to the ground, and I picked him up. And he was screaming, though he has this one scream when something's like, when he's like hurt, there's this one scream, and that didn't happen. So like, that was better. But there was like blood everywhere. I pick him up, I hug him, and there's like blood everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you know, he's bleeding from his nose, he's bleeding from his mouth. And I'm trying to like assess the damage, and, you know, he's crying. I'm like, my nervous system is totally wrecked. And then we still nurse. So he was just like, boob, and I was like, yep, let's do it. We'll assess later. And I get him on, and then all of a sudden, and then things start to like calm down. He's like bleeding, but he's like calming down. And then I start singing, or humming. Well, sometimes I sing it, sometimes I hum it. But this is a song from Beautiful Chorus that whenever there's something someone's hurt, whenever he's hurt, or whenever he's upset, or whenever the energy is just like totally wild, this song comes to my mind. And it's a full-length song, but the entire thing just is the lines, breathe it in, breathe it out. and it's in like a beautiful melodic tone, and everything in me is like, sing it, hum it, do it, and I'm like, no, don't, you're embarrassed, don't. And then everything is like, no, but you should. Like, how else do you describe what you're describing? Breathe it in, let it out. Breathe it in, let it go. Then it repeats. Just keeps going. And so, you know, we're sitting there after this like big thing, and both of our nervous systems are like screaming, and just having that song to sing, to hum, to have. And I sing it when, you know, he's upset and he doesn't want to sleep and he's crying, and I just hum that, and it feels really nourishing, and I feel like it always helps support us in like regulating, essentially. But yeah, it's like non-traditional, I guess you could say, you know. It's not necessarily traditional music in the sense. It's very rooted in, like, you know, some of those, like, I am blessed, it, you know, and there's just, it's so positive and beautiful in nature, and like, I'm always embarrassed to talk about it because, you know, it's not like Pink or Daft Punk or Led Zeppelin, you know. It's so unique in my mind. So that's what I should have said. I should have said I listened to a lot of Beautiful Chorus and Desiree Dawson, but I got all nervous about it. I got all nervous about it, but that's okay. Okay, this turned out to be a very long video, and I think I'm gonna take a wee little rest and finish my matcha before going in to the studio, and we'll see what I get up to. So yeah, that's that. If you're still here, thank you. Appreciate the watch time, really do. Like and subscribe. No, I'm not gonna start doing that. Okay, goodbye.